Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Daniel. Today we're concluding our study in Daniel. We've spent the last several weeks making our way through the book. I hope it's been informative and inspirational for you. Just want to give a few concluding, summarizing remarks today about the totality of the book of Daniel. Now, of course, we saw that Daniel was divided into 12 chapters. The first 6 chapters cover sort of the narratives of Daniel. It tells his story. How as a young teenager he was carried into exile in Babylon and there spent the rest of his life. The last time we meet him, the last date given, he's well into his 80s. So definitely spent over 7 decades in the land of Babylon. As far as we know, he never returned home. So he lived most of his life in a foreign land, a pagan land, and yet he always remained faithful to his God. And so the narrative sections tell us of his faithfulness, how when he was first trained, he would not abandon the dietary laws of the Jewish faith. He held true to God. When there was times of persecution, he held true. Remember him in the lion's den, holding true. Remember his companions, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in the fiery furnace, holding true. And they discovered that even in a pagan land, when all seemed against the faith, when they held true to God, God delivered them. God always delivers his children, even in the midst of difficult times. We also saw that Daniel could interpret dreams. We remember the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and how Daniel interpreted that dream for him. And then later, of course, Belshazzar had the vision of the handwriting on the wall, the hand that wrote a message, a prophetic message on the wall. Daniel interpreted that. So in the first 6 chapters, we see Daniel standing faithful to God, always God's spokesman. And then the last 6 chapters of Daniel, chapters 7 through 12, give us the account of 4 visions that Daniel had. 4 different visions, all giving him insight into God's plan for the world. How God would always protect his people. There would be times of persecution. There would be the rise of figures like the Antichrist, called the little horn. But God's kingdom will prevail. God's kingdom will be established. God's kingdom will be eternal. Once again in the visions, we see the focus of the message. God delivers his people. So that's the primary message we saw in the book of Daniel. Even when you lived in hard times, even when you lived in difficult times, even when it seemed that the spirit of Antichrist is prevailing, the spirit that opposes the work of God, God is in control. God is on the throne. God is king. His kingdom will be established, and his kingdom is eternal. All worldly kingdoms will come and go. And even when the Antichrist arises, though he will persecute the church, it will be but for a moment. And then he'll be swept away by the coming of the Son of Man. Daniel saw all this in his wonderful visions. And so the book of Daniel is a wonderful book for us to read and contemplate, for it gives to us the message that God's kingdom is eternal. It will be established. The day will come when every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. And Daniel saw this even in his day in visions that still resonate for us. You know, when he moved to the New Testament, Jesus, when talking about the second coming, he refers to the book of Daniel and reminds us of it. And when you read the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, you see the images of Daniel popping up again and again. In the beast of Revelation, that reflects the beast of the kingdom of Daniel. In the times and half a time, that talk about the tribulation period, we see that again in the book of Revelation. So much of what we see in Revelation, that last biblical word, is coming from and founded upon the visions that Daniel had so long before. So Daniel is a powerful book to us. Hope you enjoyed our study of it. I know I certainly enjoyed helping you work your way through it, and hope it was inspirational to us all. And we'll begin our next 5-minute Bible study very soon. We'll start our next 5-minute study on Monday, July the 17th, and we'll start a study of the book of Philippians. So I hope you'll join us beginning Monday, July 17th for our next 5-minute Bible study. We'll be looking at the book of Philippians. Join us for that study.